Hold on. Okay.
Well, welcome to this extraordinary meeting. I want to thank the board members for being here today. I came up from Florida, so I understand the difference between being in person or being remote. And the bylaws, the rules say we have to be in person, so it's especially gratifying to see all of you. We're going to try to move this meeting along. We're going to begin with, I hope everyone had an opportunity to read the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any comments or questions about the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Thank you. We're going to turn to Amy Thompson in the CFO report.
I have nothing for today.
Pardon?
I have nothing for today.
Okay. I can put this on the agenda. And then we'll turn to our CEO for an update.
Great, thank you, Alan. Good afternoon, everybody. The purpose of this meeting really is to deal with the demolition contract for the central warehouse. But since I haven't all gathered here today, I would like to give you a brief update on our other large project, meaning the support of the Albany County Pine Hills Land Authority. The entity County Executive Dan McCoy created to deal with the closing of the College of St. Rose and the disposition of the campus. As you all know, we were the successful bidder in the bankruptcy proceedings in front of Judge Littlefield, and we had our bid approved by the bankruptcy court for some $35 million. We will be issuing bonds to the tune of about plus or minus $40 million for the acquisition costs and some related expenses. We're expecting to close on that the week of March 10th. We expect to have the actual real estate closing happen some days thereafter, so that the issuance of the bonds and the final real estate closing and the transfer of the property over to the Albany County Pine Hills Land Authority is almost simultaneous, but not quite. As you all know, who've had any experience with real estate closings, things always come up. So this is subject to being pushed back, but as we stand here today, it looks good for the week of March 10th. And there has been a tremendous degree of interest that we've fielded from area institutions, individuals, nonprofit organizations, colleges, universities, primary, secondary schools, housing initiatives, healthcare. The list goes on and on. So the plan here is to develop a plan. So to that effect, we issued a RFP yesterday for the selection of a firm to come in and do a comprehensive plan of the campus to determine what the highest and best use of these properties would be, not only from a functional standpoint, making sure we've got complementary uses next to other complementary uses, but that we've also got a financial model that results in the repayment of Albany County of the amount that they will be supporting in the bonds. As I think you all know, Albany County will be supporting the debt service of these bonds through an agreement they have with the authorities. So things are proceeding along pretty well, but this is, as you all know, a pretty significant undertaking. As Judge Littlefield mentioned, this is the largest real estate bankruptcy case that he's dealt with, and it's comprised of some 71 buildings, 938,000 square feet of office space, and some 27 and a half acres of property in the Pine Hills neighborhood. So things are moving along. We'll keep you posted, hopefully we will conclude the closing on or about the week of March 10th. So that's, the next item I have, if there are no questions on any of that, on, the St. Rose? Okay.
Hopefully interest rates continue to come down. Right?
Right. Well, we're locked in. This is gonna be a tax exempt issue, and I think we're planning to go out at about 4.5%. So it's pretty good.
So you're a lot
pretty good
greater,
rate.
right?
Yeah, and, as has already been announced, M&T Bank has stepped up and agreed to buy the bonds. So, this works out very well. It's a very efficient, transaction, and, from a cost standpoint, but just from a mechanics, standpoint as well.
You guys did a fantastic job.
Well, thank you. Staff did a great job on that.
Without that, who knows what would happen.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, you have to give credit to the county executive on this. He was all in on this from the time that the college was negotiating with another school to take over the entire campus. Many of you may remember that Touro College up in New York City had expressed an interest in it, and the county executive had offered to step up and assist or facilitate that transaction. That didn't happen for some certification and regulatory reasons, but he was the one that called for the creation of the authority, and really understood the peril of that campus being vacant and not being reused. And the county's interest is is to try to get on a temporary basis while we're going through the planning some county employees up on the campus. Because as we all know, the more warm bodies you have in there, is somebody said that the more human breath you have being breathed in those buildings, the less likely they are to deteriorate and have all of the ill consequences of empty buildings. So I think we're off to a good start. It's not going to be easy. This is going to be a years-long process. We're estimating 3. Hopefully, we could do it quicker than that, but it could possibly take longer than that as well. But the other good momentum that we've developed on this project is Governor Hochul announced, along with the county executive, some 2 weeks ago, a designation of something they call the on-ramp program, which is a kind of super duper workforce training initiative, which comes along with some $40 million in operating and capital support, $20 million for operating, $20 million for capital, and that is to be housed on the campus of the College of St. Rose. So I think that provides us with some development momentum there that we can leverage and get some other uses to the campus. So, business at hand, we're coming to you and asking for your approval of the process that we've just recently gone through, and that's the evaluation of bids for the demolition and environmental remediation of the central warehouse. And what we're asking is for your approval to enter into contract negotiations with the Gramercy Lero property as a potential awardee of the bid. There's a lot in your package here. I don't want to go through each of it by word, but maybe what I'll do is I'll turn it over to Tom just to kind of tell you about the mechanics of the resolution that you have in front of you, and if you have any questions about that, feel free to let me and Tom know.
So just to go through the resolution that's in the board package, you can pull that out. Basically, as you know, we recently acquired the central warehouse in, I believe it was the month of January, that was pursuant to earlier board resolution. And in the meantime, we have gone out in accordance with our procurement policy, seeking proposals for construction management, abatement, demolition services. An RFP was issued publicly on the timesheet, was advertised in the timesheet, it was on our website, it was in the state contract report, so it was publicly available and open. As opposed to some simple jobs, the process of this, the criteria, there were what's called evaluation criteria in the RFP. It included more than just cost, because process, the staff put this process together, they realized that it wasn't simply just a low-cost job. A lot of different folks have looked at this over the years, particularly with respect to some of the special factors involved. One of prime is the operating Amtrak rail line connected to the building, which has already suffered some damage occasionally and hadn't been shut down for periods because parts of the building had been falling over. So the staff realized that this was not a demolition process that was all alone in a isolated area. This was going to take some sophistication and what they looked at specialized and technical skills and experience. So there was an RFP put together with 5 weighted evaluation criteria, one of which was cost. They had experience and qualifications, approach to the project, methodology, past performance, compliance. That's laid out. I won't repeat it, but it's laid out in the resolution. Pursuant to that, they received a number of responses as outlined in the memo. Ultimately, 3 of those responses were determined to be eligible for the process allowed them basically an oral interview when each bidder could come in and provide a detailed, substantive explanation and presentation of their proposal, their response. And then there was a review committee put together, again, as laid out in the memo, of various stakeholders, including a number of corporation staff. Your CEO and Dylan was on it, as well as other stakeholders that were interested in this project. And they reviewed, analyzed, and scored each of the responses subsequent to the interviews, and based on all of the submitted materials, they came up with a scoring evaluation, again, that was laid out in the RFP from the beginning. So those evaluations have been completed, and now, again, as dictated, as summarized in your memo, what you're doing here is, and the review committee and the staff are recommending a particular tentative award, as Kevin said, to Gramercy and I forget. And then, so what you're doing in this resolution is you're going to ratify and approve the evaluation process. That it's going to be more than just price. It's going to be a variety of factors, as was laid out from the beginning in the RFP. And then you're authorize the CEO to negotiate, execute, enter into a contract for the services. And if that is unsuccessful, if the CEO is unable to do that, you're also authorizing him to go to the next level evaluated entity to go through the same process. So subject to any questions, I'll stop talking. And obviously, if you want to get into specifics and more of the, we have the ability to go into executive session too.
Yeah, and I would like to go into executive session before the vote, just to talk about one item of the negotiation. But any questions? You know, the review committee, just so you know, was comprised of a group of people, I believe 9 altogether, 8 people. You know, which comprised, you know, some representatives from the county exec's office, a couple of individuals from the county engineer, 2 individuals from the Alliance, 2 individuals from New York State ESD, and one of our private consultants that reviewed all of the bids and got us to this recommendation. So, any questions on any of this before we go into executive session? So we'll go into executive session, discuss one item, and then come out, and then we'll take the vote on it.
One question. So there was, how many bids were sent out in total?
We received?
Yeah.
At the deadline, we got 7, 3 of which were substantially complete per the instructions in the RFP.
So if the board so chose, I would like a motion to enter executive session to discuss the appointment of a particular corporation. And obviously, this relates to the tentative award that we're about to vote on for the central warehouse demolition. So that's what the reason for the executive. Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right. Well, if all the guests could excuse themselves and just wait outside, we'll bring them back in, as we start the meeting back up.